nature.
Sophie's fiancé is more often than not to be found on the Isles of Scilly lifeboat, the most southwesterly in the British Isles and one of the busiest. Its crew are on a constant state of alert. 2 years ago, boatman Mark Bromham received an RNLI Medal for bravery for his role in the rescue of an injured yachtsman in storm-force winds. And it's Mark who's recently proposed to and been accepted by young Sophie from the tourist office.
He used to play pool in the pub where I worked, so I knew him for a bit beforehand, and he was lovely, such a kind and just a lovely person.
Have you just chosen a dress, or?
Yes.
How much is it costing?
It's not hugely expensive.
Roughly, ballpark figure.
Well, I think it's $11.99.
What, your dress?
Yes.
Is that what you're going for?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Because most bridesmaids spend a bit more on their dress than that, don't they?
Well, they probably do, really, but I'm only going to wear it once. You're not going to get married again, so $11.99 is fine. More money to put behind the bar. I hope you book the church for 2.
Whether they like it or not, their wedding will be a high-profile affair. This isn't the kind of place you can sneak off and get married without anyone knowing.
It's island life, isn't it? I mean, you know, if you have people coming over, it's all these extra things you've got to think about: transport, getting here, accommodation and stuff.
Yeah.
They can't just drive down for the day, can they?
No.
On the Scilly, these events generally tend to be a bit more celebrated, don't they, than they are on the mainland?
Yes, but I suppose you know people better over here. I mean, it's the smallest community and most people know each other, and so when someone from the community has something special, like a wedding or a funeral or baptism or something like that, yeah, they are special community events. I mean, hopefully there'll be people waving them off on the quay or meeting them as they return.
All we need is a bit of this.
Oh, the sun never stops shining on the Isles of Scilly, you know that?
I know that, yes, for sure. So it'll be shining.
It's never foggy, it's never misty, it never rains, and the wind never blows.
Up on the little island of Briar, the locals are gathering for a dark and unusual celebration.
Oh, Marion usually just grab the bottle. I'm surprised you bothered with the glass.
Down in a boat shed by the newly renovated quay, they've been joined by Annika Rice, who's happily agreed to do the official honours tonight.
I love the way some people call it Annika's key and some people call it Anarchy.
Many of the timbers from the old quay have been made into a huge bonfire. And there's to be a big beach party to launch the replacement, which will help so much to reduce their isolation.
Can everyone hear me? Yeah, you're there, guys. Well done. I just want to say how fantastic it is to be back. And I'm thrilled the quay has been put to such great use over the last 18 years. We're now going to put a torch to it. Bless the new quay. God bless everyone who walks on it, and I hope you have many, many happy decades to come on the new quay. Thank you for inviting me back. Let the party begin!
Yeah. Okay, go through there.
Oh, I thought you were
Darling, yes.
Later, there's a chance for Annika to enjoy an off-duty moment with Marion, the islander who's become a lifelong friend and godparent to her elder son on a place which has changed her life.
Just going to go round to, this is my favourite bit. This is the last point of reference until America. That's why it's called Hell Bay, because it gets very wild. This is one of my favourite views. Just love that. As I arrived on Briar, I had an absolute jolt of recognition that I'd been to this place before. As soon as I arrived, I never wanted to leave, and I really hooked up with Marion quickly. She's become this sort of great friend, godmother to my eldest son.
What is it about the place, though, that seemed to strike such a resonance with you?
For me, well, apart from the fact that it is, I think, staggeringly beautiful, for me it's this sense of community. and that real sense of survival, because life isn't easy on these islands. Everyone works hard to make a living, to keep themselves going. People, you know, always asking me, having travelled the world so much, what's your favourite place? And I always say the Isles of Scilly, because it's one of the few places that literally makes my heart miss a beat. That one letter Marion wrote, you know, "Dear Challenge Annika, we need a new key. Love from Marion Bennett." That has led to me finding probably the most idyllic place in the world, making friendships that will last me to my grave, finding a place of such stunning natural beauty and peace. You know, it is extraordinary.
In the next programme, Toby's bold plans for a revolution in island cuisine begin to take shape, thanks to some long-distance research by his young colleague Paulie.
How do you get it here?
Didn't feel too self-conscious up there.
No, I couldn't. All I could do is laugh at myself, really.
Hi, Chris. Anyone at home? How's it going?
Oh, it's never-ending, Dave.
And plans by the Scilly boys to row across the Atlantic from New York are thrown into chaos, following a last-minute intervention by the US government.
Well, our friends in America have decided we've got to have a special visa to come into America because we're flying in with a one-way ticket, we understand.
If you don't get this visa, you're in trouble, aren't you?
Well, we can't do it.
On the Isles of Scilly, final preparations are underway for the voyage of a lifetime. 4 island men are planning an epic and very dangerous 3,000-mile row across the North Atlantic. Minister David Easton knows family and friends are worried.
Yeah, let's face it, setting out to row across the Atlantic is a pretty daunting prospect, and if you know and love someone or related to them, they're your son or grandson or husband or whatever, then yeah, you would be concerned about them.
And Toby's had an idea to help breathe new life into his Seven Stones pub.
When I used to live on the mainland 16 years ago, I used to go out and have a curry so once every week or 2 weeks or so, and it became a bit of a ritual, and you know, I do miss it here.
His plans to introduce Indian food to Scilly could prove a minor revolution in the eating habits of England's remotest community. The last of the winter fogs is hanging like a damp curtain over the Isles of Scilly, way out in the Atlantic Ocean, 30 miles off the western tip of Cornwall. The sudden comings and goings of the fog banks cast a sombre, uncertain mood over the islands.
Radio Scilly.
Good morning. Last week there were some very clear days when it was possible to see the mainland.
With the new summer season just around the corner, the Methodist minister David Easton urges the islanders to see beyond the immediate future.
The funny thing about visibility is that it's unpredictable. It can be a sunny and cloudless day, and yet you still can't see the mainland. Other days, when you're not expecting it, you get a great view. So, if seeing is believing, does that mean that Scilly only exists when we can see it? What about those days when qualities such as love or kindness seem pretty invisible? Do they not exist then? Or do we have to hang on to belief in them, even though they seem to be lost in the fog?
This year, there's one event in particular which David will be very involved in. Something that's starting to dominate everyone's thoughts. The dramatic attempt by 4 island men to row across the Atlantic has gripped the imagination of the islanders, and particularly the children. Today at the school, 2 of the 4, St Mary's man Tim and his mate Joby, a fisherman from Tresco, are giving details of their route from America back home to Scilly.
New York, just there, to the Isles of Scilly, which is, we all know, is there. We're heading sort of that way to start off with. We're going with the current rather than against it, and there's also a big ice risk area up around Newfoundland.
A big fundraising effort to help the boys' trip is underway. One way or another, every islander is expected to do their bit.
Thank you very much.
Here we are, Amber.
Lovely.
Around the bay from the harbour is the Portlow boatyard. And it's here that what's become the most famous vessel in Scilly's recent history is undergoing its final fitting out. The Reverend David's catching up with Chris, the oldest of the crew, who's given up his job as a marine engineer to get the Scilly boys' boat ready in time.
Hi, Chris. Anyone at home? Oh, all right, yeah, thanks. How's it going?
Oh, it's never ending, Dave, never ending.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to take over your life, this, doesn't it, really?
Only about half a year of it, yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking when you started off, when you'd agreed to do this, I bet you never thought it would take this much of your time. And you feeling sort of fit physically and mentally?
Mentally, yeah, I think if we can overcome the last few months, we can get over the next couple of months.
Yeah, I don't know whether you'd hit a sort of brick wall halfway through and think, oh, I can't go any further, or I don't know, really.
I don't know, physically, I think you get there after a few weeks. I don't know, David, we've never done it. We've never done it. I think a lot of people that do it have never done it before.
No.
Most people tell us that have done it that being mentally prepared is more important than anything.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I hope you're still speaking to each other at the end of it.
It's thought their route across the Atlantic has only ever been successfully rowed by 6 boats, and never, as they plan, unaided. Fisherman Joby's only 19, far and away the youngest competitor ever to have entered what must be one of the world's most dangerous races. With the all-important holiday season imminent, the pressure's now really on for the boatmen to get their vessels shipshape and onto the water. Recent bad weather is slowing everything down. One of the reasons the legendary boatman Fraser Hicks is, as usual, lagging behind the others.
Why have you left it so late to get her in and get her finished?
Yeah, well, that's a little bit of my own fault again, really, I think, with that one.
These are quite stressful times for you, aren't they, Fraser?
Yeah, that's it. Well, I try not to get too stressed if I can help it. But yeah, it's not ideal. You know, it would be nice if it was, if the weather was good and we were just able to carry on and do the job as normal.
Fraser's love of regular treats from his wife Julie isn't exactly speeding things up.
Here we go. A little snack time.
That looks pretty good.
Yeah. Beck! Bacon sandwiches.
Bacon sandwiches is always a good idea, whether it's raining or not.
Here, Beck.
Yeah, that's it.
Brown sauce or tomato sauce?
Lovely.
No. No.
The way things are going with timing, it all feels quite tight, does it?
Yeah, the boat, the engines and everything need to be running, and you have running trials, and they inspect all the safety equipment, you know, the life rafts and life jackets and all those sorts of things got to be all in place. So
there's a lot to do still.
There is, yeah, there's plenty to keep us entertained.
For Fraser, the financial implications of any delay are serious. The boatmen have little work in winter and rely totally on their season's earnings. Losing out on even a day or two could start to cost him a lot of money. Fraser's wife Julie works at the island's secondary school on St Mary's, where children from the smaller off-islands board during the week to join the others for classes.
And this is what we're going to do, Jake. All right, save one for you guys.
Today, a group of the children are being briefed on an exciting and unusual journey they're about to undertake.
Yes, density of population and density of traffic is a really big difference. Even the air feels different. When you breathe the air, you'll find that it's completely different from the Isles of Scilly air.
Some of these children will never have been to the mainland, and most have no idea about city life. So the island's council is paying for them to visit London and get a taste of the unfamiliar outside world.
Does anybody have any questions? Anybody else got a question? Yes, Sarah.
What do we do if we get lost?
Now, if you get lost, this is a good question. We've got little Paddington Bear cards that I'm going to give out. And if you get lost, it tells you who you're with, where we're staying, and it has our mobile numbers on as well. You've got to watch your bags, because apparently there's lots of pickpockets. So you just keep your bags with you at all times. It's not like here where you dump your bag down and you think, oh, I'll go back for that later. It won't be there when you go back.
Fraser's offered to help out by accompanying Julie on the trip and lend a hand with the children. He's keen to see the sights of London too. But since he's so behind with his boat Sea-King, Fraser knows he can't really afford the time off. The most northerly island is St Martin's, about a 20-minute boat trip from the main island of St Mary's. And last year, the only pub on the island, the Seven Stones, was taken over by a new owner. Toby moved down from his bakery and gave the pub a relaunch. And he brought in a keen young chef, Paulie, to give a boost to the menu. Things got off to a good start, with weeks of unbroken sunshine bringing over boatloads of holidaymakers. For much of summer, the Seven Stones was packed. But through the bad weather of winter, few boats have been running to St Martin's. Toby and Paulie, now firm friends, have been passing the time as best they can.
OK, yeah, I'll hold this. Right, another good place is we're going to go down the side of this hedge here.
Now Paul has decided to take a break before things really start to get busy again.
Yeah, job's done. Time to go. Ready to go.
Are you going to miss Scilly?
I will do. There'll be time. I mean, the beautiful thing is down here you can do a lot and you can do nothing. It takes a certain personality, you know. You're not got to be a city person to come down here with one shop on the post office on the island and the bakery and there's our pub. Yeah, it's been good. It's good to go. It'll be nice to come back and see how it goes. Just live for the moment and enjoy it.
Hey Toby, sad day to see Paulie leaving?
No, it's fantastic actually, get rid of the old bastard. No, it is a sad day. I'm going to miss him actually. We've had a lot of laughs together, a lot of heartache together, a lot of hard work together and everything. He's become a really good friend, you know, as well as a colleague, you know. But it's a great moment. He's going to go off and have a fantastic adventure and have a great time. You know.
But Paul is not just going off to have a holiday. Toby's given him a very specific mission, which he hopes could really help the long-term financial future of the Seven Stones pub. Meanwhile, in London, the children from the Five Islands School are beginning their own adventure in the Big Smoke. They've been joined by Fraser, who knows he should really have stayed working on his boat, but who just couldn't resist the attractions of the bright lights. Their local MP, Andrew George, has got them special permission to go inside one of Britain's most famous landmarks.
You're actually going to a place which I haven't been before. I've not actually been up and seen Big Ben myself.
These are not sweeties, they're earplugs. Okay.
is Big Ben. 7'6" high, 9 foot wide, 8 inches thick.
Watching them ring the bell there at 12 o'clock, that was quite special. The Big Ben ringing, that was really good.
Then it's a quick trip downstream on the Thames. Fraser's loving every moment. Fraser, this is a bit different to the boat you're normally used to.
Yeah, that's right, yeah, it's a bit quicker. That's for sure, yeah, it's nipping along here quite nicely, isn't it?
How does it compare to the Sea King?
Well, it's not really any comparison, is it? It's, yeah, this is all a bit different, really, all a bit modern. But it's interesting, though, isn't it? It's good fun whizzing along on this, it's good.
Back on Scilly, the island's ferry, the Selonian, has started her daily runs from Penzance. Growing numbers of tourists are beginning to arrive. One or two of the boatmen are already in business and starting to earn the cash they badly need to top up their depleted winter bank accounts. But Fraser's still having a ball in London. Thoughts of his boat Sea King, with its engines still in disarray and its paintwork still needing to be completed, couldn't be further from Fraser's mind.
How do you find London?
Yeah, it's really good, I like it. But I wouldn't want to live here, no. No, Scilly's for me, I think. Yeah, I can cope with that. Trips to the Bishop is about my speed, I think.
Fraser's relying on the good weather holding. If he can get back to the islands from London quickly, he should still be able to get Sea King ready for the inspector's arrival next week.